Just when you think life can't get more absurd, we've got a non-binary turtle entering the chat. Hey guys, welcome back to the show, your home for independent and nonpartisan commentary and analysis on politics, media, internet insanity, and more. This one is crazy, actually. Like, how is this real life? How is this what my career has come to? But the WNBA, the Women's National Basketball Association, has simultaneously had a real increase in interest and attention because of stars like Caitlin Clark, but also kind of been subsumed or taken over by this culture war after one of their athletes dared, Sophie Cunningham of the Indiana Fever, to say that women's sports should only be for biological women. There's been a huge backlash against her, and now a counter backlash of people trolling the WNBA and all of this stuff. But one team from Canada, of course it had to be Canada. Love y'all Canadians who watch me, but y'all need to get your compatriots in check. One team has decided to troll Sophie Cunningham by announcing a new non-binary mascot. Yes, seriously, here's the headline. WNBA team reveals new mascot to taunt Indiana Fever star Sophie Cunningham. The Toronto Tempo debuted a new non-binary mascot ahead of their WNBA matchup with the Indiana Fever in an apparent swipe at controversial star Sophie Cunningham. The Tempo revealed Des, a butch, non-binary, borealis blue snapping turtle who uses she/they pronouns and, quote, has a fondness for soft-shell tacos, the team said in a Tuesday announcement unveiling the new mascot. So Des also has a partner in crime, anthropomorphic Arctic hare named Dot, who uses standard she/her pronouns. They were very, very clear about her pronouns. There is so much to this that it's just like, well, okay, you know what? Bring on the asteroid. The dinosaurs had their run, and then it was enough, right? And the asteroid had to come hit the Earth and clear things up. It might be time for take two on that, because what do you mean your non-binary turtle is your new mascot for women's basketball? So even just they're so woke that they're not even feminist anymore, because their mascot can't be a woman. It has to be a fake thing that isn't real, doesn't exist, and doesn't make any sense. Non-binary, meaning I don't feel male or female. Last I checked, every turtle is either male or female. And what is the point of this? Every human is either male or female with very rare intersex conditions. And this whole non-binary thing is just this like deeply absurd notion that, oh, well, if you feel a different way or have a different sense of style, you must actually not be female. And now you have the WNBA, which is supposed to be a pro-woman, pro-female institution, specifically embracing one of the most absurd and actually deeply sexist things in modern life, like concepts in terms of social discourse and identity and all of this stuff. They are actively erasing women and participating in a sexist ideology just to try to be woke or something. I really don't understand, because it's like women's basketball is growing. It is a cool sport. They do have big stars now like Caitlin Clark that people want to watch. And I'm a supporter of women's sports. And I'm not personally a huge diehard fan, but it's like seems perfectly calibrated to just make the WNBA look like a joke, look absurd, look like its run or its different teams are run by deeply unserious people, because they are. And the point of the mascot too, it's just a tad sinister in the sense that like the mascots are for kids, and now you're pushing this gender confusion nonsense on children who attend your games or follow your team. That's great. Why don't you confuse some young girls that because they're butch or not, they're tomboys or they're not traditionally feminine, they might actually be they, thems. Round of applause for the Toronto Tempo on that one. But there's so much more to this story. We're going to get into the details. The Tempo made a point to announce the new queer turtle totem during their home game against the Indiana Fever, and their guard Cunningham, who has been outspoken about defending girls and women's sports from transgender athletes. The Fever beat the Tempo 101-95. Cunningham scored 13 points on 3 of 4 shooting, going 3 for 3 from behind the arc while snatching 2 rebounds and dishing out 2 more assists. Way to go, Queen. The 30-year-old Missouri native set off the ongoing controversy. Rallies backing and bashing Cunningham have popped up at several Fever road games, with comments made during an interview earlier this month. Quote, "I want to protect young girls in a locker room or young girls in sport who shouldn't have to go against biological men," she told ESPN on August 5th, later defending her remarks as, quote, "common sense. I think there is room for absolutely everyone here, and I think there is room to love everyone," Cunningham said. "I truly think when you get people in the same room and you have conversations, you actually have a lot in common with a lot of people, and so I'm there to love." Those comments, which aligned with the overwhelming majority of public opinion in America, were not welcomed by WNBA players. On August 8th, the league's players' union issued a statement writing in part, "We embrace justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion." Oh my God, I'm going to barf. But this is the layer of this story that I think is being overlooked. If you or your child spent years growing up on social media and experienced serious mental health issues, you should hear this. Recently, a jury ordered Meta and YouTube to pay millions for their role in designing and promoting addictive platforms. They knew their apps could contribute to anxiety, depression, and body image issues, but did not share those risks while prioritizing profits. The recent historic verdict underscores the consequences of those decisions. Now, Morgan & Morgan is stepping up to hold these platforms accountable for the harm they caused. Click the link in my bio to take a short quiz, as you may be entitled to a potential recovery of over $1,000. Now back to the show. It's not just that they announced this silly non-binary mascot, which is absurd and cringe. And apparently it's not even the first non-binary mascot in the WNBA. Apparently another team also has one. So I'm so glad we're making women's sports look super duper serious and not at all like a joke, guys. But the other piece of this is that they specifically unveiled this new queer non-binary butch mascot at the game against the Indiana Fever, which has Sophie Cunningham, as like some kind of protest. That was obviously not a coincidence of the calendar. That was this Canadian team, the Toronto Tempo, trying to like do their big one or virtue signal or what have you, all in response to Sophie Cunningham, who we just read her quotes, said the most anodyne, respectful, nuanced, not bigoted, not hateful in any way that 80% plus of people agree with, that, hey, you know, just like we do separate sports for a reason, and it's no hate to trans people, but there shouldn't be biologically male people in women's sports and or women's locker rooms and all of this stuff. And she is being actively trolled by other teams and protested by other teams for making that basic statement in defense of the concept of women's sports. She's getting backlash inside a women's sports league. That's insane. Like, what exactly did they think? That Sophie Cunningham was going to be owned by this? Oh, well, they've got that non-binary mascot. That's really going to throw me off my game. It clearly didn't, because it sounds like she had a great game and played well, and they won. And that's karma right there, that this team thought they did their big one and ended up losing. Maybe you should spend less time inventing fake identities for your mascots and announcing their pronouns, and a little more time, I don't know, focusing on actually how to win a basketball game and not how to counter-protest a female athlete who dared stick up for the concept of female athletics. That's the craziest part. And we're now seeing this whole thing take over the WNBA, this discourse. And some conservatives are trolling them in ways that I think are immature and unhelpful. And now we have these insane protest confrontations happening outside the games and all sorts of stuff. And I don't necessarily support the way that people are coming in who don't actually care about the WNBA and trolling or anything like that. However, there's a real easy solution to this, a very simple fix. Simply just adopt a league-wide policy that in order to compete in the WNBA, you must be biologically female. That's it. Not a controversial thing, not a hot take. Many other sporting bodies have done this and come around to common sense on this. And if the WNBA just does that, then boom, the controversy will be over, or at least anyone who continues trolling them will just look like they're absolutely ridiculous. So it's actually that simple. But the problem is they won't do that because the people that run this league, which again, the irony here is so crazy that it's literally a women's sports league run by people who don't believe in the concept of a woman or women's sports. And that's why this is becoming such a big culture war battleground. Yes, there are no WNBA players who are trans. That is true. And so when progressives point that out, they're like, you're making an issue out of nothing. Yes and no, in that it's not actively an issue at the highest level, but it is a real issue at high school and collegiate level. And then they were so incredibly horrible to the one player who spoke out about it and said respectfully, in a nuanced way, that she didn't believe in it. She got condemned by the players' union and by all the other stars. So that's why it's an issue. And once again, there's a real easy way to fix this. And it doesn't involve new mascots with fake pronouns. It involves common sense. So shout out to Sophie Cunningham, and shout out to y'all in Canada, the WNBA team, Toronto, whatever, but not shout out in a good way. Shout out in a get your shit together kind of way. That's my take on this absurd story. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure you're subscribed if you aren't yet. Do hit the like button while you are at it, and do consider becoming a channel member to support my work. I call it the far left and the far right, and do extremely serious journalism like this video. So come on now, hit the join button to support me, and go ahead and check out that survey from Morgan & Morgan as well, linked down below. You could be entitled to a recovery of up to $1,000, and it'll help me out. So go check that out down below. We'll leave it there for now and be back with more real soon.